All right, another day of Google Ads. Right now, typically I would be studying linear algebra, but I learned about and make a stick today to mix up. Don't block your practice in predictable orders. Mix them up randomly. So we're doing Google Ads right now. What would we have learned about yesterday? Well, we would have been doing Google the ad auction at some point. I don't know if that was 2 days ago or yesterday, but I know yesterday we were getting into keyword strategies. So well, let's talk about that right now. Keyword strategies were definitely yesterday. That's the document or lesson we just began. Keyword strategies. 3 types of keyword matching types. I think that's what they're called. Exact match, phrase match, broad match. Google is pushing broad match nowadays, letting the machines take the reins, giving the machine learning and artificial intelligence as much control as possible. Broad match. Let's start with exact match. Exact match is the closest to what you actually type in. You use brackets for the syntax, but you're basically it's the most narrow, the least amount of traffic volume for your keywords, and you're keeping basically. You're only telling Google to show your ad potentially to people that have queries, that is searches, that are most similar to your keywords in exact match. All right. Phrase match is the next step up. It's a little more broad. It's like related to your keywords. A little more volume than exact match. And then broad match is the most volume. You have things related to your keywords, but also somewhat connected to your keywords, like abstractly, or not abstractly, but more like loose. What is considered connected to your keyword is looser. And for the syntax for that, you use nothing. For broad match, you use quotes. Back in the day, Google Ads used to be like word-based, right? Like the exact match, and you're like, if it doesn't contain these literal words, then don't show the ad. Phrase match is like, show these literal words plus or minus a few. But now it's not about literal words, it's about the meaning behind the words. So you can have exact match and something show up for something that someone search something that has different words than your exact match, and your exact match show up because the meaning is the same, even though the literal words are different. So it's not about the semantics, it's about the underlying meaning. Okay. Right. So we're about to get into Google recommending switching and transitioning to more broad match strategy. We have finished reading the ad auction as well yesterday document. Not exactly sure. Every search is basically an auction. Right. Yeah, I think we finished that. That was a main point we got from it yesterday. What else? Every search is an ad auction. We already talked about a lot of this already, like how ad positions is determined by ad rank, the things that determine ad rank, how ad rank can actually decrease. The higher the ad rank, you can actually get lower cost per click, because Google wants to reward and incentivize more relevant, higher quality ads for their people searching, the people that are using Google for free. All right, what are we missing? This is why these notes are important, so that not really necessarily for in the moment when I take the notes, but so the next day when I'm doing active recall from memory, I can check and get feedback to see if I forgot anything. Right? So 3 keyword match types. I think I said that. All right, good. Broad match works best with automated or smart bidding, probably also with responsive ads, search ads. That was all about that was the triple combo for maximizing machine learning, giving the most reins to Google's machine learning and AI. Broad match, responsive search ads, and then automated bidding or smart bidding. Okay, so yeah, they said broad match is basically best for saving time. I don't really care. I don't think that's really that great of an incentive, or how long I created a list of 400 plus keywords, and it only took 2, 3, 4 hours, plus or minus a couple hours. Like, don't think that was that big of a deal, but they say that's a benefit. I mean, I don't care about if it takes more time, because once you set them up, you can forget about them for, indefinite amount of time. So what's actually going to get better results is what I'm more interested in. All right. I think that's about everything. Yeah. I think we got everything else. Oh, this page is full of notes. I gotta get another page. So I'm gonna continue learning about these keyword strategies, and then I'll be back to recall in a sec. All right, this lesson is dense. I will say that. I got about half a page of notes. So first off, they had a bunch of drop downs on like implementing broad match strategies. And there's a lot of data and a lot of information here, but I think I just became aware that we can run custom experiments or almost like split tests on Google Ads. There's like an automatic experimentation feature where you can basically take your current campaign with exact and phrase match and create like a test campaign with broad match. They take the keywords and just make them broad match automatically. There's another term for it. There were two terms. I saw custom experiments and standard solutions. Something simple, standard solutions. Standard testing solution. So somehow there's a feature. I was not aware of this, but they gave some recommendations for running experiments, and that was ignore the first 7 days from the final results. This is called the ramp up phase. So it's unpredictable, ad spends all over the place, the machine's learning. So the first 7 days you kind of ignore, and then you want to wait until statistical significance. And they say the general rule of thumb for statistical significance is 30 conversions in 30 days. And this is why I want to study statistics at some point on my own. I think it's extremely valuable to know what actually is statistically significant in the modern world, because that seems just general rules of thumb. Is we can dial it in more than that. So yeah, there's the custom experience, single or standard solution, standard testing solution. The ramp up period, the 30 conversion, 30 days. Then they get into recommendations, and they recommend accepting the recommendations, and you can or applying the recommendations. You can auto apply the recommendations via selecting a bundle that will auto apply recommendations. The bundles are, there's two bundles: grow your business and maintain your ads, or you can apply recommendations manually by just applying individual recommendations. All right, recommendations good. Okay, standard. Yep. Yes. Okay, yeah, and also, Google it seemed to be recommending when you're running these experiments to not put in negative keywords. Maybe that's just adding another variable, so it makes the test worse. They said to increase reach, maximize volume. But yeah, I think possibly adding negative keywords is not a good idea, because keywords will essentially become negative keywords if they are served up on a query enough and they get bad results. Eventually it'll just automatically become like an implicit negative keyword. And then another thing I read in the section on broad match was basically to organize your campaigns into like logical groups within the ad groups. So I think we're doing that well, with each ad group being for our business, about specific conditions or ailments or I think basically or treatments. Yeah. And then having all the keywords within there being related to that specific landing page. All right. That's it for there. I got a few more minutes, so I'm going to read about another section, and then I'll be back to recall it and call it a day. All right, wrapping up for today. Um, that last section was basically just walking you through how to actually add keywords to an ad group and how to use the keyword planner. Not even how to use the keyword planner, just like that the keyword planner exists. It was a really short section. So yeah, that's it for today. Another day of Google Ads, learning about more keywords, keyword strategy, improving Google Ads skills. And yeah, that's it for today. I'll talk to you later. See ya.